Well, I think it stems back to before the end of last season. And, you know, as a coach, I have to take responsibility for this. But our team last year seemed to lose focus on the process and focus on the prize. And, you know, we talk about that a lot as coaches anyway. But I really felt like, in spite of the fact that we talked about staying focused on the process, I think we lost sight of that last year. You know, having won the championship 2 years in a row, the guys were so excited to try and do that again, and they lost focus on the specific day-to-day operations of just making sure we continue to get better. Moving into this year, that's a big concern I have, because still, you know, they're 18 to 22-year-olds, and still in the back of their minds, they're thinking about how great it is to be there in the end. And we have to do a better job as a staff communicating with our leadership to make sure that we don't lose focus of the day-to-day, the minute-to-minute practice. We always practice hard, don't get me wrong. We tended to, at the end of last year, to have better practices than games. We were more excited to go out and compete against each other than some of our opponents. And that's a very dangerous proposition for a team, as we found out. So the new leadership of the program seems to be very focused on that. And I think that's healthy for us. Obviously a very different team. Losing, I think we had 5 All-Americans graduate, a remarkable class. That class really had a remarkable run for us at Limestone, and leaves behind a very difficult legacy to try and keep up with. And so from that standpoint, it's going to be a different team. Everybody says that every year, because in college athletics, it's a different team every year. But as always, we'll be a team that has some surprises, some guys that you know, didn't play a lot for us last year in the big games, or the games that might have been noticed by the outside world. But we do play a lot of guys in a regular game, and we do have a number of games where we can get a lot of guys some experience. So we're excited about some of the guys, obviously, that now will step into the new lead roles. They'll be the alphas kind of out there, and some of the younger guys we're real excited about through the practice. So I think we'll be similar in the way we play. You know, it's kind of our culture. It's not something that we look every year to try and change a whole lot. We'll try to just develop what we do based upon our talent. I think our talent coming out of the fall looks pretty similar in a style of play to who we've been the last few years. Speed is absolutely a part of our identity. It's you know, one of the things that we read as we're learning how to become coaches, and we hear from other people, is that at some point your team has to take on the personality of the head coach. Well, I'm not a very patient person, my wife will tell you, and my children will tell you, but I think that lends itself to how we play. My assistant coach, Brendan Storer, who's a remarkable coach and will be a great head coach soon, he and I have a similar kind of lack of patience. So offensively, we talk about slowing down in certain situations, and we need to possess the ball here. We have a really good face-off guy. We make a lot of saves, so we're going to have more possessions usually than our opponent. Why don't we just try and keep the ball and stop them from scoring? It's not who we are. It's not our personality. We like to attack, especially when there's an advantage. We think an advantage is anytime it's not 6-on-6 settled in the box. So if it's 5-on-5 settled in the box, we think that's an advantage for the offense, not the defense. So whenever we can create those situations, however we can create them by being creative, we try to attack in those times. And you know what? It'll jump up and bite in the rear end sometimes. You know, those teams that really tried to slow us down and had some success made us have to learn how to create new speed-type things.